Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. We have another great show for you today. First, what was discussed in that super secret hearing in the Bryan Kohberger case? I think I figured it out. Buster Murdaugh has a big day, and guess who was not there? An Uber driver is shot while asking for directions. A message from the grave with the assistance of AI. Luigi Mangione has a big surprise for his 27th birthday. We have this day in legal history and our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it.
All right, lawyer.
Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment below, and hit that little bell for notifications of when we go live or put up new content. And remember, you can check us out on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Now, before we get into the discussion today, let's remind you to go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for that background subscription service today. When you do, you can do as many background searches as you desire on anyone here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, once you sign up, you type in the person's name, you're asked a series of questions, they narrow down the person that you're looking for, bam, they will send you a report literally within minutes, and it's going to have everything you want to know about that person. Email address, phone number, social media presence. Do they have a criminal history? Are they married? Are they divorced? Do they have liens? Do they have judgments? Are they on a sex offender registry? Yes, everything you will know and much more. Go to crimetalksearch.com and sign up for that background subscription service today. And the beautiful thing is, hey, maybe you want to do one search. Maybe you want to investigate everybody in the cases that you are interested in. You can cancel at any time as well. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us last night for our Tuesday night live. We haven't been able to do that for several weeks, just basically due to scheduling issues, but we were able to do it last night. It was a lot of fun. And then we did our Patreon show as well. If you're a Patreon member, make sure you go and check out that show as well. Mama Pink, one of our favorite mods and longtime subscribers, called in. We had a great discussion about the Karen Reed case. So, like I said, if you're a Patreon member, go check that out. All right, let's go ahead and open the record for Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. And yes, first on the docket, Bryan Kohberger. Now, the judge in the University of Idaho murder case held a secret meeting with zero information being leaked about what the reason for the hearing was. Nothing's leaked out yet. Usually something comes out, right? So far, zilch, nada, nothing. And since there's no official order, we're left to speculate. And I hate speculating, but I believe that we have an educated guess that we can come up with. All right. Now, there's been a lot of theories, and I've talked about them, that emerged that, well, maybe Bryan Kohberger is going to plead guilty. I doubt that. I really doubt that, based upon the information that we received in the court's orders, as well as the evaluation that the court discussed in the court orders, that Mr. Kohberger believes that he will be vindicated at trial. There's been reports that his mother does not want him to entertain any sort of plea disposition to save his life. And frankly, given the gruesome nature of this quadruple homicide, I just can't imagine that the prosecutor in this particular case would want to make a deal. So like I said, on May 5th, the judge held this meeting without the eyes of the media or the public. And this obviously comes several months before trial. Like I said, I don't think Kohberger is going to change his mind. I can't believe him taking a deal, and I can't imagine the prosecutor taking death off the table. This is one of the most gruesome murders, not only in Idaho, but in the country. And you have 4 dead college students brutally stabbed to death for no apparent reason. We talked about that last night on the live. You don't have to prove a motive. Could just be for the sport of it. Could just be for his own personal reasons. Maybe Bryan Kohberger thought he could, in fact, commit the perfect crime and get away with it. Well, we don't know yet. Obviously, he's given the presumption of innocence, which he's entitled to, unless and until a jury of his peers finds him guilty. So it's tough to know exactly what, and there's been a lot of filings in the court, but one filing that was made just last week, and then the judge immediately set the hearing, and this is why I think it was all about, was the state's motion to seal, the state's motion for examination of the defendant pursuant to Idaho Code 18-207, and for an extension of time to complete rebuttal penalty phase expert disclosures and declarations and exhibits in support thereof. Then immediately following that, the prosecution's motion was granted by the court. And then immediately after that, the hearing was scheduled for yesterday, rather quickly. Now, it was obviously a private hearing, which I have a real problem with, but it is what it is. We'll talk about another day. But the reality of it is that 18207 basically says if you are going to introduce some type of evidence that, kind of goes to the mental state of the defendant, because remember, there's no NGRI defense in the state of Idaho, but you can introduce evidence as it relates to one's ability to form the requisite intent. Now, I think that that's hogwash based upon everything that we know. Bryan Kohberger is very intelligent, right? He's working on his PhD, basically a student through his master's programs as well. And somehow he just loses it. And one night allegedly goes and kills 4 people. Yeah, I don't see that working. But I think that the defense, even if they're trying to introduce this evidence in the possibility that Bryan Kohberger, they have a death penalty hearing to decide whether he should get that. Well, guess what? The state then gets to rebut those expert opinions. And pursuant to this statute, 18207 in Idaho, the prosecution gets to interview and evaluate with their own expert, Bryan Kohberger, and all privileges are waived. So whatever he says, Bryan Kohberger says in that can be used against him in court. And guess what? If Kohberger and his defense team decide not to cooperate with that evaluation, that too can be used against him. And the judge can say, well, now we're not going to let in your own evaluation. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And on top of that, maybe the defense kind of outsmarted themselves here just a little bit. That's what I think the hearing was about. Obviously, there's no way of knowing until we receive some sort of information as to what it is, maybe hopefully a court order. But I think that is what it is, just given the nature of the filings, the speed in which the court set a hearing. Very unusual for the court basically saying, you're right, under the statute, the prosecution gets to interview Mr. Kohberger. Ooh, could you imagine what that? Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall for that interview? I think that's what the court set the hearing for so quickly, is because if there were going to be issues as it relates to this, trial's only 3 months away, right? We're set to late July, early August for this to start. And so therefore, if there's going to be issues, these things take time to get evaluators into the jail. What are they going to bring? What's the evaluation going to bring? Write the report. It takes time. So the judge wanted to move on this quickly and make sure that the defense is going to comply or not comply. I think that's what took place. We'll find out hopefully soon enough, but I think the judge made the right call in addressing this motion sooner rather than later. Next on the docket, Buster Murdaugh. Remember him? The son of Alec Murdaugh, the convicted murderer, thief in South Carolina. Buster, his living son, has married his longtime fiance in a private and apparently quite luxurious wedding ceremony in South Carolina. Now, Buster is 32 and his fiance was Brooklyn White. They tied the knots in front of family and friends at a former hunting estate in Beaufort. I have a home in Beaufort, South Carolina, my adopted home state. Well, this one was on the island of Coosaw Point on Ladies Island. Coincidentally, that's where my property is located in South Carolina. Lovely place. I love Beaufort, South Carolina. It is seriously the greatest place on earth. Apparently 50 people attended the wedding, and they're in Coosaw Island. Nobody knows exactly what the wedding cost, but to rent the facilities, it was about $26,000. It's also unclear how many attended actually the wedding, but the starting price for food there is about $100 per person, so not too bad. Anyway, Buster's bride has also taken Murdaugh's surname on her social media. And on the big day, the details were not disclosed. It was kept secret until the two had officially tied the knot. Buster and his wife, who is a lawyer, listed 3 wedding registries for guests to help fund the newlyweds' house project fund. Now, the bride is a native of Rock Hill, South Carolina, but relocated to Alabama in 2014 for college. And then she received a bachelor's of arts in political science, and that was from the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. And she became and then she began attending law school at the University of South Carolina between 2018 and 2021. After graduation, Ms. White took up a position at Olivetti, McCrae, and Withrow, a law firm based in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Now, as you may recall, Buster had been a law student too at the University of South Carolina, but things didn't quite work out. He was expelled over an alleged plagiarism incident. Anyway, we wish Buster the best. Obviously, his father wasn't there. Neither was his mother or brother. Well, because of his father. Next on the docket, a New York town official allegedly shot an Uber driver who rang his home doorbell looking for directions during a late night delivery, according to police. Now, the town of Chester Highway Superintendent John J. Riley fired multiple shots, striking the Uber driver in the back when the worker approached his Chester, New York home on May 2nd, according to the police. Now, the unidentified driver was out on a delivery for the delivery service and in the wooded Valerie Drive neighborhood when he lost his navigation and approached several homes asking for directions. And only one home he was shot at. Anyway, apparently he said, "I need help," the West African native cried out in a neighbor's doorbell camera video. Riley was inside his Orange County home about 60 miles north of Manhattan when the driver approached the home about 9:50 p.m. Now, the town official warned the driver to get off his property before he drew a gun and shot the stranger several times, according to the police. The worker was hit once in the back as he attempted to leave the residential neighborhood in his car. The driver's family recalled the encounter that they had with Mr. Riley. He asked the guy, "Is this your order?" The guy said no and proceeds to say, "Get off my property." He walks away. He's going out about his day, going to his car, and the guy tries to murder him. This is according to the relative. He just started shooting at him, and he thought his life was over. Now, police ruled the driver wasn't doing anything suspicious and was just out there doing his job delivering food. There's nothing to indicate that the victim had any nefarious intentions. He's just doing his job, according to the police spokesperson. Not knowing what to do, the driver drove back to his home in nearby Middleton, New York, before actually going to the hospital. The man's wounds were listed as serious, but not fatal, thank goodness. And the driver had recently moved to the United States from his native Guinea-Bissau to live with family members and work as a driver for extra cash. Police were alerted to the gunshot wound by hospital staff, and Mr. Riley was arrested. Now, Mr. Riley, a federally licensed firearm dealer, was charged with first-degree assault, second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of a firearm. He was booked into the county jail on a $500,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on Friday. Pointer, ladies and gentlemen, don't shoot at people just because they're on your property. They have to cross that threshold. But when they're outside and somebody's shot in the back, that usually means the threat has gone away and there is no self-defense claim any longer at that point. Just a little practice pointer there. Next, a message from the grave at a sentencing with the help of AI. That's right. Now, there was a hearing at the highest court in New York a couple of weeks ago, and a pro se defendant tried to present his AI argument, his argument through an AI computer. And then the judge was like, "Whoa, stop that. No, we're not doing that." Well, a judge in Arizona said, "Let's roll with this thing." All right. So a man shot dead in a road rage incident nearly 4 years ago appeared in an Arizona courtroom to forgive his killer from beyond the grave through an kind of eerie, creepy AI video played by his family. Now, the lifelike video of Christopher Pelkey, who was gunned down by Gabriel Hokastis in 2021 following a dispute in Chandler, Arizona. He spoke to a court audience in what is believed to be the first use of artificial intelligence to deliver a victim impact statement, according to the courts. To Gabriel Hokastis, the man who shot me, "It is a shame we encountered each other on that day and those circumstances," the video said. "In another life, we probably could have been friends. I believe in forgiveness, and God will forgive. I always have, and I still do, the AI version of Pelkey stated in the court. Now, Horkostas was found guilty of manslaughter of shooting Pelkey to death when he approached his car in a road rage incident back in 2021. Pelkey's digital resurrection, created by his family, wore a logoless gray baseball cap, an olive green zipper hoodie, and a full ruddy beard. The mouth of the AI victim didn't always align with the words he was speaking in the clip, but the video still had a powerful effect. Judge Todd Lang was deeply moved by the artificial recreation, and he said, "I love that AI," the clearly emotional judge said, and then proceeded to give the defendant 10.5 years for his role in Pelkey's death. That was a full year more than the prosecutor was asking for. Ouch. Next, Luigi Mangione gets a big birthday gift. That's right. It's a killer birthday gift, you could say. The legal defense fund for Luigi Mangione reached more than $1 million in donations Tuesday, with droves of starry-eyed supporters pitching in to help the alleged United Healthcare CEO assassin on his 27th birthday. That's right. Happy 27th birthday to the man, the myth, the legend. You are so loved. May you stay healthy and strong and keep the fighting spirit inside you. One anonymous fan wrote while donating $27 for Mangione's 27th birthday. The person also said, "This is my 7th donation, and I will keep donating as long as I need to. You are fighting for your life, but you are there. There is an army behind you. We are not going anywhere." The crowdfunding campaign on the Give, Send, Go fundraising website raked in $1,042,000 as of Tuesday afternoon, with 28,000 contributions, averaging $27. There you go. Anyway, a spokesperson said that people have forked over $27 as a way to celebrate Mr. Mangione's birthday, which is today, May 6th, which was actually yesterday. Anyway, the money will go for Mangione's defense for his 3 pending legal cases. And obviously, Mangione is accused of killing the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, outside of a Hilton hotel in Midtown Manhattan on December 4th. The cold-blooded video shows the murder, but apparently murder is not enough to not become a social media presence. That's right. Legions of fangirls have flocked to Mangione's court appearances, and protesters denouncing the healthcare industry. Now, Mr. Mangione has pled not guilty to murder, stalking, and firearm offenses at his Manhattan federal death penalty case last month. And a spokesperson for the legal defense fund for Mr. Mangione says the milestone was reached because of the continued response. The milestone has been reached because of the continued resonance of Mr. Mangione's story. They said in a statement, he has become a contemporary folk hero, understood by millions to be brave, righteous American, concerned with the lived experience of the common man. Wow. Next on the docket, this day in legal history. May 7th, 1868, Andrew Johnson has his impeachment trial. That's right. The U.S. Senate convened in a closed session on May 7th to deliberate on the articles of impeachment against President Andrew Johnson, obviously marking a pivotal moment in the balance of powers within the federal government. On this date in 1945, Nazi Germany's unconditional surrender. That's right. They signed an unconditional surrender on May 7th, effectively ending World War II in Europe, and obviously had a profound legal implications for international law and, well, started the prosecution for war crimes. On May 7th, 1975, the Hells Angels are arrested for manslaughter. That's right. Police arrested 5 Hells Angels members in connection with the manslaughter of Jose Sosa, reflecting ongoing legal battles against organized motorcycle gangs. On this date in 1982, a California federal jury ruled on May 7th that the NFL violated antitrust laws by preventing the Oakland Raiders from relocating, setting precedent in sports laws and franchise rights. And in 1992, most people probably don't know this, I actually had to break out the Constitution, see if this was actually true and correct. 1992, last time we had an amendment to the United States Constitution. That's right, May 7th, 1992, ratification of the 27th Amendment. Michigan ratified the 27th Amendment on May 7th, which prohibits immediate congressional pay raises, emphasizing constitutional checks on legislative compensation. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Now, during a routine traffic stop in Springfield Township, Ohio, police officers encountered an unexpected situation involving, that's right, a pet raccoon and some illegal narcotics. So Officer Austin Bram stopped a vehicle driven by 55-year-old Victoria Vidal of Akron, Ohio, for a suspended license. Upon detaining Vidal, who had an active warrant, the officer noticed a raccoon named Chewy in the driving seat holding a meth pipe. Needless to say that observation prompted a search of the vehicle, leading to the discovery of a significant quantity of methamphetamine, some crack cocaine, and 3 meth pipes. Now, the police department said in a post, as Officer Bram returned to his vehicle, he observed a raccoon named Chewy sitting in the driver's seat with a meth pipe in his mouth. Chewy had somehow gotten hold of the glass pipe, leading officers to inspect the vehicle further. Miss Vidal was arrested and charged with third-degree felony drug possession and 3 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia, cited for driving under suspension, and she was subsequently transferred to the Cuyahoga Falls Police due to her outstanding warrant. Additional charges related to the crack cocaine will possibly be added when the case is presented to the grand jury. Now, Chewy, thank goodness, was unharmed, and the proper authorities were notified to determine whether she was not an illegal raccoon. Turned out that Chewy was unharmed and that Miss Vidal actually possessed the necessary documentation to legally own a raccoon in Ohio. I guess there's a happy ending to that. But Miss Vidal, you are a dumb criminal of the day. Everybody knows if you're going to get stopped, you tell your raccoon to keep his mouth shut and don't grab the pipe, right? Got to keep your hands off the pipe when the cops are around, the popo. That's all we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at that video. All right. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in Crime Talk. And remember, the Constitution matters.